All right, this is Preston Neely. I've got my friend Matt Wallace here with me, and you know, man, I'm just looking forward to seeing how quickly we can get you just up and running, your gold business, buying and selling business, up and running. I want to do this. I want to get you making money very, very quickly. So just don't make any doubts about it. The purpose and intent of this course, of what you're watching right now, is not to inform you, not to give you something to do and make you feel like you're learning stuff and moving in the right direction. The purpose of what we're doing right now is to literally tell you exactly what to do, step by step. Go do this, go do that, go do that, and make a ton of money buying and selling gold, silver, precious jewels, all kind of crazy stuff that we'll talk to you about. So this you need to get this through your head, that this is not some sort of just home study course that you're just going to kind of do nothing with. This is potentially your breakthrough right here, because I'm telling you, if you're gonna start reading all the comments coming in on these blogs in the classroom of people who are doing what Matt is going to be telling you to do, and they're going to be making a ton of money. I promise you when I tell you this. So don't be one of the ones who is not doing that. I want you to be one of the people that's dropping us comments, sending us videos, showing us all the money that you're making. Because the bottom line is this: if you do what we say you're going to do, and you don't quit, and you keep going to the very end, you listen to every single thing, you go all the way to the end, you don't do like 90% of the people who go through these things doing quit and don't even finish the first module, or if they can somehow get through it, manage to get themselves to go through the whole thing, they don't do anything with it, okay? Don't be one of those people. Put this stuff into action. Now, what we're going to do in this intro video here, and you're going to notice that in the different modules, we're going to have some different kind of formats. There's going to be some videos with Matt teaching. We're actually going to see Matt and see him teaching. There's going to be some audios. There's going to be some screencasts. There's just different ways that we need to teach you guys this stuff. So keep that in mind. But the purpose for this first module is basically just kind of an intro. And what I want to do, this is going to be the only time that it is not total nuts and bolts, because what we need to do is just kind of set the background for this whole thing and make sure you know the history behind gold and silver, its place in monetary history. You know, you need to know why it is that you're even interested in doing this in the first place. Why gold and why right now? So let's just go ahead and get into this. Matt, say hello to the people, man.
Hey, everybody.
These are your new fans.
We're here to teach you exactly like you said, exactly what you need to learn how to make money. But I am going to go over a few things here, as Preston said, a little bit about the history, why it's important, so that you can understand, you know, the current situation we're in and how this is such a great opportunity, because this is not going to be the only time in your lifetime that it's a great opportunity. This tends to be a reoccurring cycle, but there is one that we're in right now, and that's what we're going to teach you, is how to take advantage of that.
Yeah, and I'll just mention right now that you know, at the time of this recording, gold is shooting through the roof. Okay, it's currently at $1,650 an ounce. People are predicting it to go up to 5,000, 10,000, even I've heard 20,000. I've heard, what's the highest prediction for where gold is headed that you've heard?
You know, I'd have to say it's just in the low 20s. It's probably the highest I've heard.
Yeah, the highest I've heard is $30,000 an ounce. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I hope I'm not stepping on Matt's toes here, I'm going to tell you why people are predicting it to go. Well, actually, if I say that, I know that I'm going to be stepping on Matt's toes. So let's wait to get to that. But my point is that regardless of when it is that you're going through this course, regardless of whether gold happens to be in a boom, a bust, it's just like any other commodity. It's just like anything else. There's always going to be somebody that wants to buy gold. It's the beautiful thing about gold. Everybody always wants it, and everybody will always be happy to sell it. It's just a matter of what price. So, but as of the time of this recording, it is just a unbelievable time to get involved with this because the price of gold is constantly going up. It's going up every dang day. There's some dips every once in a while, but it's just going through the roof. So like I said, right now we're at $16.50 for an ounce of gold. Matt, let's just talk to them about why this is happening. Let's help them understand why gold is on this tear towards infinity.
Sure.
It seems like.
Well, one of the main things, gold reaching these historic highs here, it goes back, starting, over 100 years ago. Back in the day in 1900 that we enacted the Gold Standard Act. And we're not going to go into too much detail on any one of these, but essentially what that did was the government then backed every dollar that we started printing with gold. Because gold has been used as a form of currency since the earliest one that I think is about 643 BC. Is when they started using gold as currency. So we've used it, humans have this natural draw to use it as a form of money and currency. And so we enacted the Gold Standard Act, which backed every dollar with gold. And that lasted for a while, but as we hit, the world wars, we had a few glitches there. They took it off briefly, and ultimately we ended up with the Bretton Woods system. And what happened is in 1944, the U.S., along with many nations around the world, got together and basically decided that we were going to peg the U.S. dollar, or peg the value of gold to the U.S. dollar, and put it at a fixed rate so that we could operate as a world a little more efficiently. Because, if you don't have a system that everybody abides by, you get really wild things where currencies end up, certain countries' currencies end up being worth a lot or a little, and it changes very quickly. So the Bretton Woods system went from 1944 to like 1971, and during this time, gold stayed relatively low. It was pegged at $35 an ounce in 1944 and really didn't fluctuate all that much until 1971. But what it also did was that the U.S. was saying that for all the money that we were printing, that we were, that we had the backing of the gold reserves, and countries could turn in their U.S. dollars for gold. What happened, though, that system works, except for if people start to lose faith in the currency, they may want to actually get some of their money back. And we actually started having countries come to the U.S. Right in the late 1960s, early 1970s, and start turning in their U.S. dollars for tons of gold. They were losing a little faith in the currency at the time, and it was withdrawing too much of our gold reserves. There was a lot of other things going on at the time involved with, money and inflation. So the president kind of did what we called, they named it the Nixon shock. When President Nixon on August 15th just basically took the U.S. dollar and unpegged it from gold and no longer valued that where you could turn in your dollars for gold. The huge turning point. This is kind of the turning point that leads into exactly what we're going to be talking about. So from 1971 on, now the U.S. could print as much money as it wanted, and it didn't have to have the gold to back it. And we instantly saw the effects of this because, within a year, gold was, went from like $35, $40 an ounce up to $120, $150. And gold continued to climb till 1980 when it reached $850 an ounce. Now, if you're going from $35 an ounce in 1971 to 9 years later, 850, you see the exact same thing, a very steady, quick climb for, those many years. Well, we're in the same thing. Gold leveled out. We're getting right in the same aspect that the government is printing more money than it ever has before. I mean, in 1971, the U.S. debt was $424 billion. We're now, in 2000, it was $6 trillion, and today, we're at $15.6 trillion. Just 12 years ago, we've more than doubled it. This is more debt than you can ever imagine because we're printing money so fast. Well, as we print money, gold's value continues to rise because we have more dollars chasing the same amount of gold. And that is exactly what we've seen here. We've seen gold continue to soar as the U.S. continues to print money. Well, is anyone expecting the U.S. to stop printing money tomorrow, to lower, the value of gold and bring it down a little bit more? I I don't think so. I don't know what you have to add about that.
It's impossible. It's impossible. If we were to, and all that really means is them buying bonds and adjusting interest rates. And if the United States lets interest rates go up just 1%, that we'll be bankrupt, because that same percent is what we have to pay on all our foreign debt. So we can't do it. And I heard that the amount of money that we have printed in the past couple years is more than the amount of money that we've printed from George Washington to George Bush.
Oh yeah, I've heard the same statistic.
Is that incredible? So not only is it more money chasing gold, it's also the fact that people aren't as stupid as the government would like to think that we are. We see the government printing all this money. Everybody can see. Anybody with their eyes open can see where all this is headed, and they've seen in the past what happens when governments get out of control printing money. Inflation comes. And so what's the ultimate hedge against inflation? It's gold. So everybody's on this mad rush to buy gold. And the truth of it is, and we're not going to get into the details here, but there is a lot of evidence that gold should actually be even higher right now, and that the price is being suppressed by the government. And I won't go into it, but if you Googled it, and I mean on credible websites, you will see detailed explanation as to how this is happening, why this is happening. A lot of people think right now that without that artificial suppression, that gold would currently actually be at $4,500 an ounce. So you can just see where all this is headed, and it just makes it a very extraordinary time to do really anything related to gold. In this course, we're going to teach you how to use all this to make a ton of money, okay? Kind of being a middleman for all this stuff. It's like they said, well, it's actually like they said for the gold rush. Who made all the money? The people going after the gold? No. It was the people selling all those people shovels, right?
Yep.
Actually, I don't know if that's true or not, but it's a story all over the internet, so it must be true. If it's on the internet.
Actually, I can tell you a little bit on that. There's a statistic I was reading about that. You had thousands of families. I think 50,000 families. Goes for the gold rush there in the 49ers, as they were called. And the person making the money was a religious man who saw this. And in fact, every time he heard about gold, he would then go to the streets of San Francisco and tell everyone, gold was found, gold was found. All the meanwhile, he had already set up a shop with supplies to sell everybody. He was the one raking it in.